And in three, two, one. This is right. It is behind the scenes here at the Moxie Life podcast. I'm Ben Spid-Watterson, your host. And the thing I want to cover tonight is being able to find the creativity in the day-to-day life that you find sometimes kind of difficult. Difficult in the way of, you have the outside influences in people in your life that create a way for you to create hurdles, I guess. To, I don't know, put a halt to your everyday production and everyday creativity if you let it. And the hard thing for everyone to recognize and to overcome is those outside influences. And what I've preached before on the podcast before is forget the outside influences. What are they in actuality? What are they really? What are they really to you? The thing I wanted to get across is that when life has got you down and there are so many outside influences that bring you down to the point where, I don't know, maybe you just want to give up in creating everything you have because of outside critics that may have told you that what you're creating is not really feasible. And most of these are internal mechanisms within the brain that tell you this is what people are thinking about you. What you have may not be that great. And what you're doing is basically devaluing yourself. And if you can get past that devaluation of yourself, you will be able to function as a productive and creative creator, podcast person, whether or not you put out art or whether you are a musician. And those things that if you don't care what other people think about your music, about what you create, about the overall aspect of creation or what you put out as art or the advice that you have for other people. Some people do very well with, like the, I guess with the, psychological aspects of things. People who put out content that inspire people, that create a creative mindset, and just an overall beautiful soul out there. There's people that I know that create some of the most beautiful things that need to be exposed to the point of, waking people up. Damn it. Just expose yourself by using this beautiful technology that we have today in today's world, and within the podcast world, within the creative video world, if you will, the YouTube, BitChute, Instagram, and Twitter, and Facebook, and Snapchat, and all these different platforms that we have to be able to create a avenue for people to be able to be recognized and get their work out there. And if nobody likes it, then nobody likes it. If they do like it, then they do like it. And that's awesome if they do, because you know what? Those are the people you want around you anyway. And so, when I came out with the Moxie Life, I wanted a podcast to where the people could be recognized because of their oddball and their eccentric ways or whatever that are recognized locally or within friends or whatever. It's like, they're kind of outside of the box, man. That's kind of cool. But yet they could be exposed to just a tad bit more. And that's what I'm saying is let's extend that, and let's create a platform where people can be exposed a tad bit more. And that's what the Moxie Life is the bold, life-changing, creative people that need to be exposed so that other people can have a great life and beautified by those people who create things that are just neat and extraordinary and creative to the point where it makes our lives that much better. And to give a challenge to other people who may be sitting on the fence about, what if people don't really want to hear what I got to say, or what if they, I don't know, this, that, and they're just they're just boxed in by their own mindset. And they need a platform to where they can be, featured, talked about, and say, hey, look, this is what they believe. This is what this is, whatever it may be. Their creative mindset, whether they're sculptors, whether they're musicians, whether they're people who just are just psychological analysts of human thought. And they should really be exposed. And that's the ultimate, I guess, I don't know, achievement of what the Moxie Life should be, is be Moxie, be bold, do what you want to do what makes you happy, and accept that what you do matters, and that other people want to hear it, and that we need to expose that in this day and age where we live in a world where you can just publish anything and you can put it out there and you can let people see who you are and what you do, and not be afraid of the other stuff that comes with it. And I do mean stuff, because everybody's got stuff. Everybody's got crap in their life. Everybody's got outside influences that affect how you create things. And that stuff should not matter. That stuff should not matter at all. You should be able to express yourself as the creative person that you are. And let the people that want to know what you do and what you are matters, and that they matter to you and you matter to them. And that's where the connection begins. That's why we live in the best time period you can possibly live, period. And that's the reason why I say that. It's because we can put out anything, do anything, post videos, post audio, post a podcast, do whatever you want to do, and extend yourself out there to where you can connect with other people in this glorious age that we live in. I'm so sick of hearing the pessimistic garbage that's going on right now, that's going on in our world right now, when we're at the hard cusp of having things exposed to the way they're exposed. Yeah, it can go negative, but you know what? There's an optimistic approach to it. And the optimistic approach to it is that you matter, and you can publish yourself. You can put yourself out there. You can connect with other people via Instagram, via Twitter, via Facebook, whatever. If you're not doing this, you are sorely, sorely missing out. Because if there's a time ever in our lives, and I'm 45 years old, I know what it's like when we haven't been able to do this, and I can grab onto it. It's like the person that's the critic of Star Wars, the new Star Wars coming out. I hate to put that out there, but the critic of new Star Wars out there are the same people that don't want to accept why and how we are evolving the way we're evolving. Technology is making it so that we can possibly do things that are totally different from the time that we grew up. And when I see in my daughter's eyes, when I see how captivated she is by the new Star Wars that are coming out, I can accept that and be optimistic about it and say, you know what, this is her generation Star Wars, right? And I'm just going geek here. But on that level, I could sit there and critique all the new Star Wars stuff that's coming out and everything, and say, oh, it's just terrible and this and that. It's not like I was a kid. Because of course not, it wasn't like I was a kid. It never will be. But the thing that I can say is that when I look in her eyes, she's captivated. And she has this bliss. And she has this beautiful acknowledgement of what is. And this new Star Wars or whatever, these new stories that are coming out that we're reenacting, they're not like it was when I was a kid. And you know what? And I can accept that. And the optimistic approach is that this is this generation's Star Wars. And when you can accept that, when you can truly accept that and say, you know what, this is this generation's Star Wars, if you will, I'm just using this as an example, then you can truly enjoy it. And I truly enjoy it now because I see how it's captivated my daughter and how this is her generation of Star Wars. It's not mine. It's not going to be like the New Hope. Someone once wise told me, you can never go back home, but it's always beautiful to visit from time to time. And I mean that with all sincerity. When we visit those times when we were kids, it is a great bliss, but it will never be. And you cannot go back home. that your happiness has to evolve and has to be within the here and the now. And so when I see my child love the new Star Wars, I can exactly accept that I love the new Star Wars too, because this is her time. My time is already gone and past. And you know what? I can relate those two together, and then you can truly enjoy it. So all these critics of the way things were, and not just Star Wars, but just way things were in politics and technology and everything else in life, stop it. Stop it. Just accept it for what it is. Our children are growing up with this technology because they see it as a tool. When my generation at 45 years old, we watched it develop, how it developed from the 8-bit generation all the way to now, where it is. We view it as a dopamine fix. What's coming next? What's coming next? What's coming next? And so our children, they see it as a tool. And you've got a generation of 15-year-olds out there who are absolutely just taking advantage of it. There's 15-year-old kids going up to their parents saying, I need a bank account. And then 6 months later, their parents are saying, why do you have $5,000 in your bank account? Well, Mom, it's because I'm on Twitch playing games and telling people how it is. And this is just the way it is. This is the technology that we live in. Accept it for what it is and embrace it. Just like our children are embracing it because they know nothing else. They grew up. My 11-year-old grew up with nothing but the internet. I did not. Maybe you did not. But however, it is what it is. Accept the technology for what it is and live with it. And you know what? They use it as a tool. We use it as a dopamine fix. Let that sink in. Because this X generation, we watched it grow. We went from Pong to Atari to Nintendo to what's coming next? What's coming next? What's coming next? So now when we view Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff, we worry about all the likes and what's going on here and what's going on there and everything. But we don't really realize that this new Z generation, right, is using it as a tool. And you know what? And I've said before, and I'm not going to put off on the millennial generation either. I have an older daughter who's in the millennial generation, and she works till her damn eyes bleed. And there's so many people out there who take that optimistic approach and work and do what they can within this age, right? And to put off on these generations and in using pat ads, because it all goes back to the same beginning as every generation thinks it's wiser than the one before and smarter than the one after, and or however that goes. And it's just absolute garbage. So stop with the generalization, because in this day and age where we need to be more accepting of different lifestyles and how people are, and putting off on millennials is completely and utterly unacceptable. Completely. I have a millennial nephew who is a Juris Doctorate, who is a lawyer, okay? So stop with it. This is ridiculous, saying all this stuff about millennials, saying all this stuff about this new generation and everything else. Garbage. Absolute garbage. Be the optimistic person. Look at it from a different perspective, from a creative perspective, from a Moxie perspective. Be bold and look at this new generation in a new, different set of eyes, and embrace it, because this is their time. They have only grown up with technology. We are growing up with technology, and for me, for 45 years old, I've grown up in this technology and how far we've advanced. But you know what? I've accepted it as a point of being, it is absolutely and utterly beautiful. And to bring us to a point in this time period that is the best period, and I'll say it again, the best period, time period to be living in, period. Challenge me on that. Because if you are not putting stuff out there that you like, that you want to be involved with, I don't care if you're into sports, I'm not, who cares? Doesn't matter what I think, but if you're into sports, if you're into movies, if you're into any kind of science fiction, if you're into anything, put it out there and promote it and put it out there and say, this is my perspective on it. And guess what? You'll get some kind of feedback. How is this a bad thing? People, wake up. Stop with all the political bullshit. Stop with all the garbage that you see on, just the day-to-day critical BS of, movies and sports and politics and everything else, and just do what is within your heart, what is within your drive, what is within your love in your heart to be able to put out there. Whether you like another artist and you want them to be exposed, do that. I do that all the time. And say, hey, you know what? This artist changed your life. Or, hey, get it out there. Get it out there. Get it out there. Because ultimately, here's the biggest thing. And wait for it. Because the biggest thing is that when you do this, you are documenting your life. You are documenting what you say. And please, when you put it out there, not only are you doing it for yourself, you're also doing it for generations to come. Because 4 generations down the line, they're going to know who the hell you were. I didn't get that luxury. I would love to know who my 4th great uncle or my 4th great grandfather was. But I don't. And the reason why I don't is because we didn't have this beautiful, best time period to be living in, period. So get that and do it. Put it out there. Produce it. Do what you got to do. Be Moxie. You know what? I'm gonna end it with that. And the reason why is because I just wanted to express that is because this is what the Moxie Life is about. The Moxie Life is being able to put your life out there and expose it to others, because you know what? You matter. Everyone matters. Everyone matters. Put it out there on everything you can. Be kind to those less fortunate. And remember, with this Moxie Life, use it up, wear it out, or make do or do without. And that's exactly what we say on every episode. Until then, I'm Ben Spitwaterson, and thank you for joining the Moxie Life. Love y'all. Peace.